Hi, greetings. It's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and this is video number 9 in our Human Resource Management series. And this specific video is going to be talking about creating and maintaining high-performance organizations. And this is one of my favorite sections that I think it should be the core goal of every human resource professional. Every manager must recognize that they truly make a positive or negative difference in their organization. And if they really want to have a highly successful team and have highly happy and satisfied customers ultimately for the organization, which helps sustain the profitability of an organization and reputation, they need to have the right systems in place. And that's what excellent human resource professionals do. So, in order to understand the whole big picture, I'm going to try to talk about things step by step to help give you an overview, and I'll even talk about some key terms related to creating high-performance work systems. So, you have to be able to know what a high-performance work system looks like and recognize what pieces must be in the right place. It really is ideal if you know what the outcomes of each of your work teams in the organization truly are. Making sure working conditions that help create high-performance work systems in place need to be considered. And we're going to talk a little bit about what human resource managers do to contribute to creating high performance in their organization. And we're going to take a look at some basic measures, because remember, what gets measured gets improved, and that really is key for any managers to understand how to measure success, right, and how to identify what success looks like. So let's talk about the first thing, high performance work systems. This really is just a fancy term that talks about the right combination of people, technology, and organizational structure that makes full use of the organization's resources and opportunities to achieve their goals. Each of these elements really must fit well with the others to create a smooth, functioning whole organization, right? So in a business or any type of organization, for-profit or non-profit organizations, organizational structure has got to be one of the biggest considerations. I'm going to talk about that. Obviously, you have to recognize what the organization's goals are and make sure you create the right systems in place to make sure that the right performance is created, because that's the whole goal in an organization, to maximize efficiency and effectiveness of every single team member or organizational member at every level. That's the big picture. You have to look at organizational structure. Who's in charge in each area? How do they connect with the other departments? Task design should be considered. Information systems, reward systems, and then the people, and that's about the selection, training, and development that we've talked about in other videos in this series. So here are some elements of high performance work systems. You have to consider organizational structure, which is the way that the organization groups its people into useful divisions, departments, and reporting relationships. Task design, which really determines the details of the organization's necessary activities that will be grouped, whether into jobs or team responsibilities. The people. Are they well suited and well prepared for the jobs and the job duties that they're working on? Reward systems. They must be in place to encourage people to strive for those objectives and that support the organization's overall goals. And then the information systems really are about enabling the sharing of information to the right parts of the organization. So, in a high-performance work system, all elements, people, technology, organizational structure, truly do need to be working together for success. Some outcomes of high-performance work systems is 1, high productivity and efficiency that contribute to higher profits. No profits, no organization, right? High product quality should always be the goal for every single individual that works on a product or service, and usually they need to understand how what they do makes a difference in the quality of their products. So if one individual is not focused on creating high quality, they become a weak link in the organization, and you're only as strong as each organizational member. Great customer satisfaction, that is the hallmark of every successful organization. You don't just keep customers happy, you complete them. They must be completely satisfied. And so all organizational systems must recognize that happy customers are return customers, and it's free marketing. But it's also free negative publicity, which causes things to become more expensive in an organization. So you have to be thinking of everything at every level of the organization to keep your customers satisfied and giving them no reason to talk badly about your organization or look to your competition to make your competition stronger. And if it's not the most important thing, it's one of the most important things. It's employees. Employees must stay with the organization and grow with the organization. You spend a lot of money to train and develop employees, and then if you lose them to the competition, it makes them stronger. So systems must be in place to keep your employees happy, and that's what human resources really is all about. It's recognizing that happy, satisfied employees ultimately create high quality products, which ultimately increases productivity and efficiency, which contribute to higher profits. So they all fit together nicely. So productivity, efficiency, higher profits, product quality, customer satisfaction, and low employee turnover are ultimately the outcomes of high performance work systems. And so as you look at work systems, how things fit in, I mean, there's some natural systems that take place. You know, you got to create jobs that employees find interesting. You know, you've got systems set up and you're hiring the right people so that they love their jobs and they love coming up and giving their very best. That creates satisfied workers. Satisfied workers generally have lower absenteeism and lower turnover, which lowers costs, which ultimately leads to higher profits. Higher quality created by employees creates satisfied customers, which creates higher sales, which creates higher profits. And so you've got to have knowledge sharing and innovation for the employees, and have the right systems in place to create innovation and knowledge sharing. You know, that increases greater productivity, which ultimately increases higher profits. So if you are a human resource professional or a manager, you got to recognize the impact on satisfied people, because business truly is about people, and it's about people pleasing people and doing high quality things, and that's what a high performance system is all about. All right, let's talk about conditions that contribute to high performance. So teams ultimately are creating the product or service. They're the ones that are performing the work. Do you have the right systems in place to have high performance teams? There must be the right employees selected to participate. Employees must receive formal performance feedbacks. They need to know how they're doing and how what they do has an overall effect on the organization. And then the right kinds of plans must be put in place to help improve performance. Ongoing training must be emphasized, and there must be rewards associated with that ongoing training. You're investing in your employees. You got to get return on investment, you know, and they're not numbers. You know, people don't know everything, and managers need to help provide the right kind of support to keep their employees satisfied. and employees must be rewarded and compensated related to the organization's financial performance. So hire the right employees, make sure they have the right skills, mindset, and cultural values, and then put pieces in place to support them, help them grow with the organization. You don't want to lose them to your competition to make the competition stronger, and you want to help them to continue to grow within the organization to make it stronger and stronger too. You got to have the right equipment in order to make sure that work processes are in place to maximize flexibility and interaction among employees. Employees must feel like they are a part of any kind of planning in the changes, and they must be aware of the equipment, layout, and work methods, and involve them. That helps managers know what they don't know. They don't always know what they don't know. But if it involves changes in the workplace, you really should get your employees involved. Work design is a huge thing. You know, how things are laid out makes a difference. And allowing employees to use a variety of their skills helps keep them interested in what it is they're doing. Above all, employees at all levels of the organization must always understand how what they do contributes to the finished product or service. So being able to help educate them is really, really important. Remind them how important what they do is to the organization. And the bottom line here is you as a manager or you as a human resource professional must be completely ethical at all times, model ethical behavior, and encourage ethical behavior at all times for every organization. And if you watch my other videos, you know that ethical behavior means doing the right thing for the right reasons in the eyes of other stakeholders that are involved. So we all have our own ethical beliefs, but really making clear what the standards are in an organization and upholding those standards and expectations really is what exemplifies what true ethical behavior really is all about. So some other conditions that contribute to high performance is teamwork and empowerment. We need to make sure that we're designing the work so that it's performed effectively by teams. Managers must be able to coordinate the roles and provide the right resources. It's important for companies to capture and share the knowledge of workers who've had years to learn their specialty. And this is why I'm such a huge fan of mentoring programs. People must be empowered to become experts and be recognized and praised as experts, and that's allowing them to have more responsibilities in mentoring other employees who are newer to the organization. Knowledge sharing truly is important, and some of the key features of learning organizations are they're constantly encouraging continuous learning. They have the systems in place to help people continue to learn. They must have ways to share knowledge through the other employees within the organization. They have to have critical, systematic thinking. Managers must exemplify that at all times. They must have a culture that supports learning, and employees, above all else, need to truly feel like they are genuinely valued. This is absolutely a key leadership trait. So leaders set the example, and they have the biggest influence on the success of an organization. And managers who fail to make employees feel valued, it's the manager that really is the weak link in the organization. Job satisfaction and employee engagement. Employee engagement really is about the degree in which employees are fully involved in their work and the strength of their commitment to do their job within the company. And managers really must continually engage employees and help them feel valued and help them understand what it is that they do for the organization. And they need to understand the needs of the employee too. Brand alignment is also something that should always be considered. Are HR policies, practices, and programs all congruent? Do they all fit together to support the overall culture and branding of the products and services? Passionate people are fully engaged with something that it becomes a part of the sense of who they are. Their jobs are really important, and you have to honor the natural systems that are in place. People must feel like they are important and that their work is truly valued. And we call that occupational intimacy. Human resources really does have a significant role in creating systems where people feel empowered and engaged and alive and loving their products or services. We must consider ethics, as I talked about before, and so you've got to have written codes of ethics that reinforce ethical behavior, performance measures that include ethical standards, channels for employees to seek help, and then the right kind of training so that people understand what's expected of them and help them make the most ethical decisions possible. So human resource really is all about supporting and creating systems that helps organizations create practices that match organizational goals. You have to have some sort of performance management system that measures customer satisfaction and quality. You have to have individuals and groups that are constantly sharing knowledge, and the organization must monitor employee satisfaction. Work is performed by teams, and that you have the right employees with the right discipline systems in place that's progressive. It's not make a mistake and people get fired instantly. People will naturally make mistakes, and people will make bad decisions. So the right progressive discipline systems help people recognize that they're valued people, and that people make mistakes, but there's no room to have continual mistakes happen, and so that's why we have progressive discipline in place. The organization must encourage continuous learning. Pay systems must reward skills and accomplishment. Work design, permits, flexibility in where and when tasks are performed, all must be considered. And skills and values of a diverse workforce must truly be valued and used. Legal systems need to be considered. And then technology used the right way can reduce time and costs. So some general things that human resource professionals do, as I've talked about in other videos, are job design, which enables the organization to benefit from teamwork and employee empowerment. Recruitment and selection are the most important things that HRM people do, and employees who contribute to teamwork and are empowered and share knowledge are the ones that help the organization grow. So help hire and select the right people. Training, as we continue to talk about, is important to improve performance of their job duties. Performance management goes hand in hand with that, and it helps employees recognize what the goals of the organization are and helps people accomplish those goals. And then compensation. If you want to have a strong organization, you need to be able to pay people so they're not looking for jobs outside of the organization. They feel like they're competitively compensated. Yeah, there's a lot in this. So obviously, when you're looking at employee performance systems as a process, you have to ultimately look at the organizational goals. You have to consider individual skills and abilities, individual behaviors, and then ultimately the objective results. And each of these helps contribute to organizational culture, which affects the economy and all outcomes of the organization. So make sure that everybody is clear on how their actions affect the overall success and health of the organization. Guidelines for performance. Do you define measure and performance in precise terms? Are you linking performance measures to meet customer needs? And are you measuring and correcting for the effect of situational constraints? And rarely will everything work perfectly all the time. Some applications for human resource managers. Computations and calculations need to be used to review and document HRM decisions and practices. Decision support systems. They need to be designed to help managers solve problems that include the what if feature. And expert systems, computer systems incorporating decision rules of people deemed to have expertise in a certain area. So in HRS, or Human Resource Information Systems, you have relational databases. They store data of separate files that can be linked by common elements that identify the type of data and sort by fields. And they can track employee benefit costs, training courses, and compensation. And generally there's some sort of HR dashboard, which is a display of HR-related indicators showing human resource goals and objectives and the progress towards meeting each of them. So with human resources, very often they do work online, and we call that EHRM, and they are used for improving human resource effectiveness through online technology. There are essentially some requirements of business HRM, HRIS to leverage technology. There's social media applications, and then there's cloud computing that enables access information that's delivered on demand 24/7. Ultimately, satisfied customers should be the key perspective of human resource managers. So you have to know who your customers are. You have to identify line managers, strategic planners, and the employees. They all need to be in alignment with the needs, fulfilling the needs of the customers. You have to understand what are the needs of your customers. Do you have committed employees? Do you have competent employees? Are the managers supporting their employees so that they feel committed? And do they have the right training, skills, knowledge, and abilities? And how do you meet customer needs? And so when you're doing the hiring and selecting of employees, are you making sure that they're properly qualified? Do you have the right performance management systems and rewards and training and development in place? Human resource management audits really help assess whether or not you're doing the right things. And so human resource management audits are essentially a formal review that should be done. Maybe it's done annually. It's assessing staffing, compensation, benefits, training, appraisal, development, and overall effectiveness. Compliance with equal opportunity laws, succession planning, maintaining a safe workplace, and positive labor relations are all things that are done in these audits. Some business indicators like staffing that should be considered are average days taken to fill open requisitions, ratio of acceptances to offers made, ratio of minority and women applicants to represent the local labor market, per capita requirement costs, average years of experience in education of hires per family. You have to consider customer satisfaction measures. Are you anticipating the needs of the personnel required? Do you have timeliness of qualified workers to line supervisors? How are applicants treated? Do you have the right skill in handling termination? And do you have the right ability to change the labor market and conditions? So as far as compensation is concerned, per capita or average is about giving the right merit increases. It's about ratio of recommendations for reclassification to number of employees. Percentage of overtime hours to straight time, and ratio of the average salary offerings to an average salary compared to the rest of the community. Fairness of existing job evaluation systems in assigning grades and salaries. Competitiveness in the local labor market. Relationship between pay and performance, and then employee satisfaction with pay. Some measures. Business indicators has some benefits, and so you need to look at the benefits as far as average unemployment compensation, or UCP, average workers' compensation payment, which is WCP, the benefit cost per payroll dollar, and percentage of sick leave to total pay. You're looking at customer satisfaction measures like promptness in handling claims, fairness and consistency in the application of benefit policies, communication of benefits to employees, assistance to provide line managers in reducing potential for unnecessary claims, training, percentage of employees participating in training programs per job family, percentage of employees receiving tuition funds, training dollars per employee. I have to look at the extent to which training programs meet the needs of employees and the company, communication to employees about available training opportunities, and quality of introduction and orientation programs. Employee appraisal and development is important. I hear too many horror stories of managers that abuse the appraisal system. So make sure that employees are appraised and developed properly, with respect, thoughtfully. Make sure that you're distributing performance appraisals accurately, and you have the right psychometric properties in appraisal forms. You need to really be considering identifying management potential and organizational development activities provided by the Human Resource Department. Overall effectiveness is really can be figured about with the ratio of personnel staff to employee population, and turnover rate is a huge one. Are there managers who seem to have high numbers of people that are leaving? Absenteeism is another indicator whether or not employees are happy with their job. The ratio of per capita revenues, per capita cost, and then the net income of employees. And you need to make sure that there is accurate and clear information provided to managers and employees, understand the competence and expertise of each of the staff members, and the working relationships between the organizations and the Human Resource Department really must be considered. HR should not be an enemy of employees as much as they should be seen as a support system to employees. And so we use HR analytics to measure efficiency and effectiveness of programs' successes. And overall, the bottom line is a measurement of programs' costs and benefits. And so sometimes it's hard to quantify, but very often you have to know what it is that you don't know, and then recognize that it's more expensive to lose an employee than it is to make sure that you're bringing them back into the organization and helping them be satisfied and happy and growing with the organization. So I've given you a lot to consider as it relates to creating and maintaining high performance organizations. I hope that you've enjoyed them and at least taken away something that could be helpful to you in understanding HRM a little bit better. And more importantly, I hope that you have a great day, because only you get to choose how you feel about it. I'm Dr. Paul Gerhardt.